everyone, Erica Serwin here from Pink Buckaroo Designs, and today I am showing you one of, well, really two of my most favorite things from the 2018 Stampin' Up! Holiday Catalog. The first one is this stamp set called Country Home, and that's this image right here. And the second one, which I probably have to say is my #1 favorite, is the new big Buffalo check background stamp. If you know me, you know I am a little bit obsessed with Buffalo check, so this stamp has been living on my Stamparatus since I got it. It has not left because I can't stop using it. So I'm using them together today to create a fun thank you card. Now we're going to use the Stampin' Blends to color in our image, and we're going to use a couple of other new things, the corrugated embossing folder and that gorgeous galvanized metallic paper. All right, well, let's get started, and I think we should start with this beautiful little arrangement here. And I am using Memento Black because when you color in with Stampin' Blends, you need to use a water-based ink. The Stampin' Blends are alcohol-based, and so we need a water-based ink. And I'm gonna go as close to the bottom as I can, leaving just a little bit of space. And then I'm going to stamp the little floral arrangement. And these stamps are photopolymer, which means you can see right through them, and it's going to help you arrange them and stamp them in the right position. Perfect. Even with a video camera, I'm surprised at myself. I was able to get it right. Usually with a video camera, it takes a little extra because I can't put my head all the way in. All right, so we're gonna start with Smoky Slate on this adorable chippy picture. I am a huge fan of Rustic Farmhouse, and if you watch HGTV and you know Chip and Joanna Gaines, they are my favorite. We are from the same alma mater, so of course they are Baylor Bears, which I am too, so I'm gonna, of course, root for them anyway because of that. But, I mean, who doesn't love JoJo's style? And that's what this reminds me of. Totally Joanna Gaines. All right, I'm gonna take my darker color and I'm gonna go around the edge. Notice I left it white there in the middle. That's because we're gonna create like a shine, kind of a, making it look rounded. So when I go back and I pull this darker color towards the middle, that center is only getting really one layer of color. And where I went over it before is getting several layers of color. All right, let's fill that in. And it looks pretty good. I think so. I think it's done. All right, so close up your blends. I always leave my light and dark open, the ones that I'm working with. And then I leave, I close them when I'm done. That way I can move between them quickly. All right, so the color on this card is Blackberry Bliss, which is an old color that has come back. It was in color many years ago, and everybody loved it. So Stampin' Up! Brought it back and has made it a core color. So I'm taking the light Stampin' Blend marker, and I'm just gonna go over this flower. Now, don't ask me what these flowers are called or any of the pieces in this arrangement because I have no idea. I am not up on my floral terms. All I know is that it's pretty. All right, so I went in now with a darker color, kind of where the petals would overlap each other, and just put a little bit of darker color in there. And now I went back with my lighter and blended it all together. All right, now we're gonna do these funky looking leaves. I, again, have no idea what they are, but I like them. And we're gonna use Old Olive, and I'm just gonna go with the light Old Olive and color them all in. When you're coloring them, they're kind of weird. The shapes are kind of odd, but when you look, you step back and you look at them as a whole, they look awesome. I think it's kind of a viney foliage. I don't know. Don't send me hate mail, you guys. I don't know. I'm just guessing. All right, let's open up the dark. I'm sure my mom would know what these were called. and some of you probably do too. Now I'm just taking this dark and just kind of adding in where there would be some overlap or some shadow there. Just kind of adds a little bit of dimension to it. Makes it a little more realistic. And now I'm just going back with this light, kind of just randomly, and blending those out. And I like to leave the tips of these leaves light, not going all the way out to them, because the light, they would be the lightest on the ends where they're catching the light. All right, actually, we're gonna leave that open, the light old olive, and just very carefully go over these little leaves. I would love to have a little flower arrangement like this in my house. It's very cute. And having a chippy pitcher, one that's chipped off and rustic, that's very popular, especially here in Texas. All right, now we're gonna bring in that Blackberry Bliss again. I'm gonna use the dark, and I'm gonna color in those little berries using my little end that is not, it's not the big brush end. When you wanna get in small spaces, you wanna use this end. Now crumb cake, and I'm gonna use my light crumb cake to color in these cattails. I think that's what these are called, cattails. Uh-oh, I see that I've forgotten a leaf. Have you guys caught that? All right, now let's go back with that dark crumb cake and really add some color there. Where those dots are is where it's gonna be the darkest. And then you can go back and just fill that in a little bit like that. Pull that darker color over to the light side. All right, before we put the blends away, I don't know if you guys noticed, but there's a leaf right there that I forgot. When you get up close to it, you kind of miss some of it. And when you pull back and look at it, you can see it as a whole, and it makes more sense. There we go, beautiful. All right, now I didn't tell you the measurement of this paper, 2.5 by 3.5, and I am going to adhere it to a piece of early espresso that is 2 5/8 by 3 5/8. Now you guys, this project was originally done during my Facebook Live video on September 5th, and there's a PDF with all the supplies that I'm using, as well as the measurements, the exact measurements. So you can go over there and save it and use it to recreate this card. All right, let's do the buffalo check. Now, as I mentioned to you, this stamp has not left my Stamparatus. This is a stamp positioning tool, and since I got it, I have not taken it off. I have used it probably to make about 100 cards at this point for my stamp club and for my in color clubs and for some classes. I've just used it a ton. So you'll notice here that I've put some washi tape. And the reason I did that was because I was mass producing. I was, like I said, I was making 30 of one and 50 of another. And it just makes it easier to put that paper in stamp, pull it out, put another one, stamp. When you're using a background stamp, it's best to leave it a little bit further away from these hinges. Up next to the hinge, it's a little bit harder to get it to make perfect contact. Now, normally when I'm not mass producing, I'll get a half sheet of cardstock and I just stick it here in this corner, and I lay the stamp down and I pick it up and I stamp it like that. No magnets needed or anything because I know that it's even with the corner. However, in this case, I was doing so many, I didn't want to waste that much paper with a half sheet. So I had cut my sheets down to quarter sizes, which is what we're going to use right now. And since I still have this here, it makes it really simple for me. I don't need to worry about magnets or anything, because if it comes up and I need to restamp it, I can just set it right back down in that washi tape. Now the way I did that is I originally laid my paper down in those grid lines, and then I went around it with a tape, and I laid this down right centered on top of it, and I picked it up with the clear plate. So that's how I did that. And I'm going to stick a stamp case right under that to make that flush. All right, let's ink up our stamp with this Blackberry Bliss, which is a beautiful, beautiful dark color. However, I am wearing it all over me today. Re-inked that pad and just got it all over me. But it's not a bad color to have all over you. All right, let's see how this turns out. Use lots and lots of pressure. And carefully. Gorgeous. We don't even need to restamp it. I love it. All right, now let's layer up our card. Oh, before we do that, and that'll give that some time to dry, let's emboss our corrugated embossing folder on our galvanized metallic paper. Now, when you're using an embossing folder, you need to use, and I'm trying to get it out of my drawer, your regular Big Shot platform, not your metallic platform. And this is one of our thicker embossing folders, so make sure you're only using one plate. You probably will break your Big Shot if you try to use two of these, because this is so thick. Now, another thing I have learned about this embossing folder is because there is so much pressure going across when you put it in this way, it pushes in too deep to the paper and it tears it. So this folder needs to go this way. So it just does bump, 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 one line at a time, okay? Now, I've heard lots of different opinions on how the embossing folder should go in, that I've decided I no longer have an opinion. I don't know, but I'm just gonna do it the way it works for me. And that'll be all right. All right, there we go. Look at that gorgeous, gorgeous metallic paper. Now, this isn't as shiny as our regular metallic paper. It's that soft galvanized. All right, now let's put our galvanized metallic paper that has been corrugated, so it looks like corrugated metal, right there in the center. And I'm gonna use my dimensionals here on this piece to pop it up here on the front. And I'm not gonna center it. I want it just off-centered a little bit, like that. All right, now, of course, we're gonna use a galvanized button to go with our galvanized paper. And I'm gonna use a glue dot, and I'm just gonna put it kind of here to the side. And then, did you know we have Blackberry Bliss twine? This is part of the Nature's Twine pack, and there's 4 different colors in this pack. And Blackberry Bliss is so beautiful. All right, now we're gonna add this on with a mini glue dot, and we've got the front finished. Now, I didn't wanna mess up the design with a sentiment here on the front, so let's do one on the inside. And I've cut a little piece of Whisper White. This is 3 3/4 by 5. And I'm just gonna take one of the sentiments from the Country Home set, Simply Thankful for All the Good Things. And I'm gonna stamp it right there. So of course you could change this to Happy Birthday, Thinking of You. We've got several sentiments in the set that you could use. All right, you guys, I hope you love this card as much as I do. I hope you can't live without this set. Truly, I hope I've convinced you, because it's a great, great set. It is fallish because, you know, Happy Harvest. However, this is one of those that can go all year long for sure. All right, hop over, get that PDF and save it so you'll have the measurements, and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.